Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. We are so excited to have our next guest joining us today, George Papiatande Turnage, joining us here. He's a life coach, spiritual coach, and so much more. An amazing man, many accolades. Oh, yeah. Le Peristyle Sanctuary is the name of his company from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Welcome to the show today. How are you?
Thank you, Jill Nicolini, for having me. It's such a pleasure to be here to meet you.
You
I mean,
too.
when I tell all of you, it's such a very, very sunshine smile.
Thank you so much.
I'm
And all
very
the teeth are real still. Everyone says, you have fake teeth. I'm like, no, I'm lucky. I'm lucky. But thank you. It is what it is. Smiling says a lot about you. Got the gorgeous smile too. We're sitting here and it's right. There's something about eye contact, smiling.
Yeah.
And by the way, live here on the podcast, also on the Zoomcast, for those of you just listening there on the radio, we are here live. So I get to see him in person, which I just love. I think it's a better connection, even though it's virtual, it still is. So let's get started. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Let's begin.
I started when I was 16 years old. I'm gonna make it quick because it's a lot.
Go ahead.
At 16, I was visited by a Holy Spirit or one of the angels, and it just told me 3 gifts I give to thee, and sight, song, and healing hands. And I wasn't afraid. I was very relaxed. Talked to my mother. She told me that I had to be a preacher. I cried like somebody had stole something from me. And because my brother was supposed to be the preacher, wasn't supposed to be me. And so I went ahead and advanced forward. And in high school, in college, my senior year in college, 3.6 average, double major, thinking about graduating. Beatrice Azuka from Arantejuogu, Nigeria, came and brought me to her room and told me, George, if you don't leave now to become a priest or a minister or whatever, you will not be anything in life. And it scared me so bad, I left. It took me about 3 months. I found my teacher who had just came through a similar experience as I did, was initiated into African spirituality, gave me my guidance, ended up becoming my wife, and we've been together now 43 years. She just recently passed from Johnson & Johnson baby powder, that ovarian cancer. So I'm here now leading and going forward in all of this as my billboard talks about. And I ask people again, do you want to know?
I just got goosebumps. My apologies, my condolences. But the fact you're able to talk about this and smile, we believe, and I hope all you believe whatever you believe in, but there is life after death. They're with us all the time, all around us.
Still telling me what to do. Are you kidding?
My mom passed 5 years ago, and she tells me stuff all the time. I'm with you. Well, God bless. And thank you for being here. And thank you for being so open with us about all you've been through, how you've, climbed up this ladder here and where you are today. And again, now there's so much more to you. How did you even come up with Le Peristyle? And I mean, where did you want to start? Because was it
my wife started, because I didn't know where to go or what to do. I had talked to so many people about, because I asked my mom if she didn't mind if I looked for spirituality in Africa and African culture. And she told me that since I was 14, all I've been talking about was Africa and African people. She said, she gave me her blessing. But when I left school and came into Philadelphia, everyone I knew and thought that I knew who had dreadlocks, dashikis, chew sticks, and sandals knew absolutely nothing about African spirituality or African culture, until someone on a challenge decided to take me to a spiritual house, which was a voodoo sanctuary from Haiti, Voodoo Aizan. And I said, well, fine. Yeah, let's go and see it, because at this point, I'm just kind of very depressed and kind of desperate. And that's when my wife had her first ceremony as what they call a PT Mambo, which is a young or first level Mambo. And we've been together ever since. And so that's what I do now. But I'm more than that now. I have excelled extensively.
Amazing. So, I mean, being this is our first meeting together, what do you want our listeners, our audience to know to begin with? Because there's so much on your plate and on your notes. I want to make sure we're covering everything, and I want to go in the chronological order that's important to you.
Well, that's great. Thank you. What I'm interested in today is the chapter of my wife and I has turned the page, and so not only have our friends, even some of our family members, as well as the leaders that we have met across the world, literally in Africa, in South America, Caribbean, and Asia, have let me know that it is important for me to continue the chapter in my own works now. Because my wife was dynamite.
Hmm.
She was everything and more, and who was my teacher. But then what happened when we got a chance to travel and meet kings and queens and other high
Wow.
officials, that we've done it all. I mean, trapped between borders, coup d'etats, you name it. It reads like an adventure movie.
Yeah.
So now my whole thing is to work at teaching people how to become human beings. I,
Hmm.
I no longer am interested. I mean, I'm talking about, we've been doing this for 43 years. That's quite some time. So I'm no longer really interested in getting up before people doing spiritual ceremonies in voodoo Aizan or any other thing. It is important for me to teach people how to become what you call human beings. I transform people from thinking that they're white or black or brown or yellow or red, into understanding that they are people, and
Yeah.
in understanding that they are people, that they are of one a race of human beings. Well, the human being part is what I'm trying to get people to arrive at. It is
Hmm.
important for people to know that a lot of us live in as low lives. That's in our cerebellum. They live there and they think dark thoughts. They do dark things. They're
Yeah.
easily persuaded to be against their fellow man, and are easily taught to do wrong,
Yeah.
as opposed to people who live in the cerebrum
Hmm.
mind, that are blinded by the light, the
Yeah.
holier than thous, think they're looking at the face of God and all of the light, but can't see a damn thing.
Yeah.
And standing and walking on people whom need them and need their help and their guidance, but they can't see it, but they can see the money. They can see how they can profit by it. And neither one of these are favorable unto the Lord. What is important is the even mindedness,
Yeah.
is when we connect with something in our energy that connects with the quantum physics of nature, that
Okay.
also connects with the energies in just about everywhere, that in the galaxy,
Yeah.
and so on. Now, I'm not telling nobody that you got to become some kind of space being, but what you do have to do is become a better individual, a better person, thinking better thoughts. You have to know what Jesus Christ brought was the first thing he came, which is why we honor him so greatly, because he came with love.
Yeah.
Love was the first divinity to come to the planet. And in love, we have to learn things like caring, giving,
Yeah.
thankfulness, helpfulness, and the things of that nature. And so I've become, in studying, I stopped looking in books. I don't read Bibles, the Quran, the Torah, the Bhagavad Gita. I know these books.
Yeah.
I don't want to idolize anything, but what I do want to do is to have an understanding of seeking now, and that's why I talk about even-mindedness. And I'll be brief.
Yeah.
Even-mindedness is for people, is how I teach people to live in a space where they have a little bit of that darkness, so that when you have people coming with that underhandedness and beginning to try and shuffle you or persuade or pull you into their thing, the one thing that you are able to do, by having a little bit of that darkness, is know exactly who they are, knowing exactly what they're trying to do, and knowing how to say no, not easily persuaded into
Yeah.
something like that. In fact, if you're on your game, you can pull them further out of that darkness so that they can see the type of person that you really are, as well as not being blinded by someone who is in the light telling you, I am God's leader, I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing this for God,
You're
and God
doing.
wants you to say this, and God wants you to know that. And they're lying. They can't see God if they were looking in the mirror,
Mm,
because the truth of it is that he is not in that light. He is of the light. But if you were standing in even mindedness, you wouldn't be blinded by it. What happens is you can become what they call intuitive
yeah.
when you seek truth, that energy. The first thing about all of this that you see is the mind.
Mm-hmm.
If it is not the blueprint in the mind, it's the black print of the mind, because it's in darkness and it came to light. And so we've created what? Name something we haven't created by our minds, and what God has told us to do by our being led through
Yeah.
with the mind. So I tell people to stand in even mindedness. And this is how I work. You call me about your business and you say, Papa John or Yatande, who I have so many different names.
I love it.
They say, Papa John, I'm going into this and I'm going to that, and I have this individual. What do you think? And I listen to what they have to tell me, and I begin to tell them then what I'm hearing or what I sense. And by telling them what I hear and what I sense, I began to connect with them. And they say, well, wow, you know this person. I said, no, I don't know. They said, well, you talk about this person like you know him. I said, no, I'm just feeling the energy that you're bringing about that individual. And I'm going to tell you, do not trust that individual. Or I'm going to tell you, yeah, you may trust, but so far, or be careful, be of your mind, and know that whatever the Lord is telling you to do and the direction that he's sending you, follow that. Don't let anyone change that. But you can always ask me, what do I think? The same way in relationships. I'm so in love. Oh my God, he's the best thing since French toast. And I look and go, well, hold on, or some guy who's looking at some lady, and I'm like, just stop. Nothing is absolute, and we are all trying to find the best that we can find. And the same thing was that I do this in people's health, and I do this in people's their body and mind, I call it. But help to get your mind right, we can get your body right.
And on that note, we just need to take a quick reminder. I'll call it a break. Tell us how we can reach out to you. People have questions today, want to work with you. Can you just remind us of your website, phone number, social media pages, anything that's important to you before we continue? Thank you.
Exactly. You can, if you go to Times Square, where Ashley Stevens has helped me put up a billboard, you can see Yatande.
Congrats, you have your billboard.
Yeah, I have.
Yay!
And it says again, do you want to know? And it has a phone number on it. But directly call me at 215-869-5322 or grohungan at gmail.com. That's GROHUNGAN at gmail.com. And that's my direct email address.
Wow.
Please reach out. I'm also on LinkedIn and Twitter and Instagram.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. All right. Thanks for the reminder there. And let's continue with the conversation. I mean, there's a lot to you, what you have to offer. And I'll just let you continue. You're on a roll, so you don't even need me.
Oh, yes, I
You're a
do.
pro. How long you been doing this for?
Oh my
Huh?
God. Yeah, probably for a
You're
long time been
it's
talking.
well, I mean, for what you do, you're just a great speaker.
Nikki, it's been wonderful. I still talk to my wife, and it's just behind any great man is a woman.
Mm-hmm.
I just know that, and she's rolling her eyes because she was the one that got you to wear the right shoes or put on that shirt or don't wear that tie,
Yep.
or whatever it was. And if we listen mainly and mostly to our women,
Yeah.
we'll understand a lot better how we can understand the world. And that's just the truth of it all.
Yeah.
Woman was not given to man. It was woman who was placed by the Lord to give man an opportunity to replicate himself.
Mm.
And the only reason he has all these muscles and things is to help to fortify, build, strengthen, protect, have animal husbandry, have husbandry and things with his woman. And these are the things that I began to also teach about. But I've been so blessed because I was when she left, I didn't know how I was going to continue or how I was going to make it. And people in Miami called me and said, "Hey, we need help down here."
Yeah.
And I went. "Hey, we need you to speak at this event." And I went. And
Ah,
I'm now in January on my way to Montego Bay to go to the hills and speak and attend a conference with the Maroons. That's Indian. Those were the slaves and Indians that mixed in those hills, have their own religions and so forth. Then I'm coming back and going to Bahia, Brazil, and attend a lecture on discrimination and racism of African religions and spirituality. And then after that, I tend to we're going to where's the next place? Oh, to Central America, to the Galafuna people, who were Afri Indians and or Africans and Indians of the natives. I don't know how I'm doing this, Nikki. I haven't paid 10 cents.
wow.
Yeah, do you understand what I just said?
Oh,
I haven't paid a dime, and
no.
I was able to get the billboard. I was able to get all of these events that I've gone to, as including the Ghanaian event that I went to in Hialeah, and was able to participate. And I'm going to all of these places, and I just have to thank my wife, and I have to thank God, and I thank the Loa, who are
Mm-hmm.
the forces around us that help me to do the things that I do. I have I don't even question it anymore. I simply just don't know. I stopped wondering, how am I going to pay this light bill? How am I
Mm-hmm.
going to pay keep the water running? How am I going to put food on the table? Because she and I together was a force, was a business. And unfortunately, when it all went away, people went away because they were here mainly for her,
Mm-hmm.
and it left me rather, alone. And so I'm still trying to figure out, all right. And someone just called me yesterday and was telling me, is, "I'm so proud of you, my God. You held in there, you stand tall, you've been able to keep this thing going on your own." Because we started a business called the National African Religion Congress, which is a certification. What we do is we put in check people who call themselves so involved in African faith,
Wow.
who don't know anything about what they're doing, or either they are professional. We check your background, we recheck their background. We make sure that if you're saying that
Wow.
you're doing this, you got to be able to provide where you come from, who taught,
Mm-hmm.
who this,
Who?
what is your level of education and understanding. Because there are a lot of my people who will go to Nigeria or Ghana or somewhere and come back
Oh,
wearing robes, dreadlocks, and sandals with a chew stick in their mouth, saying, "I am now the Haji Baba of this," and it's a lie.
yeah.
They only went for vacation for a week or 2 weeks, and they came back, and they may have gotten anointed or some kind of initiation, but they haven't studied anything. You understand what
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
saying? And I got into this when I was 19 years old. On December the 9th, I'm about to be 63.
Wow.
You understand when I say
Wow. Yeah.
study?
My goodness. You would never know. Wow.
I see we only have about 4 minutes. Is there anything else you want to know?
We got a few more minutes. Look,
Good.
no, clearly with what you do, there's people out there that obviously are listening to, can reach out to you. But
Good.
let me ask you, just look, the holidays are here, right? A lot of
Yeah.
people going through a lot during the holidays. There's a lot of depression. There's a lot of self-reflection. There's a lot of need. There's a lot of, things that, any advice to us, to, to get through the holidays. Not everybody has the means and what they could do. And I also believe in a positive mindset
Yeah.
and
I said,
manifestation. I mean, really, how does that, how important is that to you and what you teach with everyone that, listens to you and all your followers?
I sat at the dining room table for Thanksgiving with my god sister and she's also slash goddaughter, who I teach, and she stayed behind. She was one of the only three others or others who stayed behind with me that cook, clean, and take care of me. And
Mm-hmm.
he and I sat at the table and toast wine and ate a very modest Thanksgiving dinner together. And we really felt good to know that whereas my house, my home, was this big table, is food from one end to the next, and people crowding, waiting in lines to come and eat with us. Well, what I tell you then is this: even if I was alone, yeah, I would feel that. But you know what I was able to do? I was able to look in the other head of the table where my wife would be sitting and see her. And I don't mind if you think I'm a little crazy because I do talk to her.
Yeah.
And the same way I talk to the Lord, the same way I talk to the forces, because I know she's right there, and that was able to help me to get through what I used to see
Yeah.
as one of the most major events
Mm-hmm.
in my home. People would come, even for Christmas, we have a huge tree, and we would just have gifts. My wife would buy the dog catcher gifts. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? She was that kind of person. And I'm telling you, I can show you pictures that you cannot walk in the house or in the living room. That's how much gifts that were out there. And it was a gift for everyone. And that's going to be a little different now because it's just me and Shumbe me. There's Keith Todd, and there's Juki Faye, and Ramona Campbell. We call her BT Donna. And
Mm-hmm.
of course, there's Demetria Demetria Gordon, who we know as Frida Moore, and and so many others that still are here,
Yeah.
still hanging on with me. And I got you, who is a young, really awesome minister who knew Mambo and heard about me and came out of the clear blue sky and sits with me. And we share information, and he and I decided that we're going to push ahead together.
Good. And that's what matters. And also, you also have information on the website, right?
Yeah,
Downloadable
I'm
information.
building
There's a
a
great
yeah,
building on it.
building
Okay.
a new website. I had,
Perfect.
and it's going to be the same picture you see as on the billboard. So when that website hits, and it's going to be Yatande. Yatande used to be my music website, but I no longer played and wrote songs and things like that. So I'm taking that space to do the spiritual thing. It's called Yatande. Do you
Yeah.
want to?
Beautiful. Thank you so much. And again, looking forward to the next time we connect. Is there a best form of contact for you want to share?
Yes, my cell phone number again is 215-869-5322. And I'm going to be brief. Weeping endures the night. And usually along these holiday times is when we find ourselves at our lowest or alone. But you are not alone. Yeah, I don't care what color you think you are. To
Mm-hmm.
me, you're people. And I don't care what it is that you think, how wealthy you think you have gotten, or how secure you have gotten. We all have problems. You are a human being.
Yeah.
Call me. Let's talk. If you want to know, I may have answers for you. God
Yeah.
bless all of you.
Thank you so much. You have a fantastic day. Thank you
You
again
too,
for being
Nick.
here, for joining us, and looking forward to the next time we connect. Are we back on for next week?
Yes, if
All
that's
right.
what you wanted, you and I.
Perfect. Thank you so much. You have a fantastic day. Really a pleasure getting to know you and all you do and the work you do and the people you
And
help. And we'll talk more. Have a great day. Thank you so
you
much.
too. Enjoy it.
Thanks.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.